Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Story Dude. My name is Francis and I'm here to guide you through some excellent stories that have been bouncing around the internet as of late. So strap on your seatbelts and let's jump right into the juice here. Today I effed up by trying to talk to a woman at a bookstore and failing miserably. Yeah, I think a lot of us will definitely relate to this one here. I was at a local Barnes& and Noble and was looking at a book that appeared interesting. Down the aisle was a woman looking at the manga section in front of the movie and music shelves, and I typically go to the latter shelves. I wanted to strike up a conversation, so I went over, giving her enough distance, and asked her about the manga aisle. This is already so awkward. I don't even. Yeah, I mean, the lesson here is you should never talk to anyone in public. Don't talk to strangers, just maybe through the internet from time to time, but yeah, that's my recommendation at least. She seemed nervous by me coming to her, and while I was trying to be friendly, I suddenly realized she didn't want to talk, so I quickly apologized and left. I'm usually against beginning conversations with women at public places because most get hit on frequently and are there to focus on their work or tasks at hand. For some reason, I used to be good at initiating conversations with strangers when I was younger. But after COVID-19 and trying to be more mindful of social etiquette, I almost always try to meet women through dating apps. Today, I made an exception to see what would happen, but lesson learned. TLDR, I tried to start a conversation with a woman at Barnes& and Noble and suddenly realized she didn't want to talk and seemed nervous, so I apologized and walked away. Two things come to mind right here. One, you did good by, sensing that the other person didn't want to talk and leaving, because I think a lot of people don't know how to take a hint, so that's great that you know how to do that. And I think that is to your credit and means that you do have social skills. And that connects to my second point, which is you're trying to learn a lesson from just one experience. Don't let this one experience get you down. You're obviously someone who has a minimum amount of social intelligence, and you should keep on, just keep on trying, man. It's going to work out. But let's see what the community has to say. Hey man, getting the cue and just respectfully apologizing and walking away is definitely not an F up. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, Roasted Hunter. Nice username, by the way. Nah, you just fumbled and honestly think you handled it well. Gotta keep trying, don't get discouraged. It makes me feel good when there's a lot of love in the comment section. It's not every day that this happens. That's one experience with one woman. Doesn't mean that that'll happen continuously. She might have been apprehensive in case you took her to be an employee of the store. She might have just been embarrassed that she was in the manga section. It's like, oh no, he's gonna think I'm some weird manga chick. As a woman, maybe she was buying a present for someone and she's like, I hate manga and this guy thinks I love manga. Lots of things could have been happening there, and don't assume it's all about you, which is what most of us shy guys do. As a woman, I very much appreciate and applaud your mindfulness in the situation, as most men will just relentlessly bother us and not care if we feel uncomfortable. I don't think this was an F-up. Maybe she was caught off guard. You apologized and left her alone. If anything, I think this was a win, and sharing this for other men to see is even more of a win. I'm also thinking you might see her around another time and be like, hey, I'm the guy who's just totally ridiculous in the store. And that might actually give you a funny and positive, reason to talk to her. Who knows? Life is weird like that. All right, we've got Niner the Neep Neep coming at us with another comment. I found out years later that I was the third person in a day to ask out my now wife. Aw. The first guy brought her flowers. The second guy brought her a stuffed animal. I brought myself in a goofy-looking outfit. She turned the first two down and said yes to me because I'm so hot. Oh no, because I was so awkward and nervous. That was over 25 years ago and still going strong. Never give up. I feel so positive now. I'm worried the next discussion's going to be more insane. But let's see. My boyfriend proposed, but I don't know how to say no without hurting his feelings. Yeah, we're definitely in the dark space now, but let's try to work through this one. All right, my 26F and this is just wild. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 6 years, and he recently proposed. I wasn't prepared for this, and I didn't know how to react. So I said yes, as it was the expected thing for me to do, and he's super happy and excited. I love him a lot, and I know he loves me too. I want to marry him someday, maybe in a few years, but not now or anytime soon. Nothing wrong with him, I'm just going through a lot in the moment, and I don't feel like this is the right time for me. We always talk about absolutely everything, but this time I'm afraid of hurting his feelings. I'm scared that if I say no, or if I explain that I don't have any plans of marrying him in the near future, this could potentially change our relationship. How do I say no to a marriage proposal when there's nothing wrong with the relationship? Just editing to include more information. I don't want to marry him for now because my mother has cancer and I'm not going anywhere until she gets better or passes away. Unfortunately, I can't give him any specific time frame. We met when he was an exchange student in my country, and we've been long distance for 4 years, but we visit each other often. Even though he was a student in here, he doesn't speak my language. He went to an English speaking university. I'm French. He's American. I'm moving him moving here is not an option because he won't be able to find a decent job without speaking the language. Well, I'm going to offer my totally unsolicited thoughts on this. The fact that you are going through a crazy time means that he should have known that it was not the right time to propose with your mother being sick and all. And I think that is a sign that maybe he's not the right guy for you. Looking at the fact that you want to wait around maybe means that you're not the right girl for him either. So anyway, that's my lame comment. Let's hopefully get some better comments from the community here. Let's see what they got to say. Ooh boy. I'm sorry to be blunt, but you don't. You don't get to not hurt his feelings here. That's just not an option. If you turn him down, it will hurt his feelings. It will change your relationship. It may lead to a breakup, but will absolutely lead to a conversation about what your timeline does look like. And you need to be ready to answer that with a concrete timeline if you intend to continue dating him or even having a long engagement. I think at 6 years early engagement is already quite long. If it weren't for your mother's illness, I would really be doubting the strength of your relationship. I read somewhere, and again, I love just throwing out random stuff that I read on the internet, but I read that marriage relationships that turn into marriages early on, i.e., within the first year, tend to have a greater chance of success than marriages that are consummated after several years of courtship and engagements. However, this is just my vague memory of something I read, and it could be totally wrong, so don't take my word for it. Unfortunately, there's no way to have this conversation and go back to how things were before the proposal happened. There's just not. You need to accept that and do it anyway. Sometimes, to do what's right for yourself, you have to be the bad guy in someone else's story. It's rough. It's rough stuff. Is a lengthy engagement out of the question? I like that. The compromise. You've dated 6 years and you haven't lived together because you are in different countries. You are stringing him along for the ride. You have to make a decision. Just saying to stay long distance until you feel like getting married is not an option. You are being selfish. If you don't want to get married within a year, then just break up. In any other circumstance, you could do a long engagement and live together, but here you clearly cannot due to the fact that you are in different countries. At first I was gonna call out the fact that this person seems to be forgetting the fact that your mother's sick, and that's the reason why it's not the good time for you. But I'm realizing that maybe, as serious as your mother's sickness is, maybe you are using this as an excuse, or that's like not the right word to use. But you said that you want to wait till your mother either gets better or dies. Those are like two very ultimate end results that could take years to happen. So it's an easy fallback. It's easy for you to say, I'll make the decision when this happens, but that might not happen for several years. I've had relatives who've had very serious cancer who've like gotten better after many years. So basically you're setting yourself up with a very final but also vague deadline to avoid taking responsibility. So I kind of agree with what Coco Dirichlet is saying here. That yeah, I think this is about you. You might be stringing him along here. Marianne 0601. Look, the reality is that after 6 years, he wants to move forward in the relationship, marry and live together. You don't, and are not sure when you will be ready. This isn't something you can compromise on. He's waited 6 years already and deserves to know the truth. You don't want to be tied down. No one is at fault, but you shouldn't have said yes. Oh, I forgot that you said yes. Oh, this is so crazy. But also, if your mom is dying, wouldn't it make her happy to see you? If when she leaves this plane of existence, to know that she's left you at the beginning of your family story. It's weird. It's weird what's happening. The two of you may be close in age, but you're at different stages in life. It's time to sit him down and explain how you feel. You may not stay together. You're happy with long distance, and he's really not. And if you are happy with long distance, it means that you will not be happy with close distance. You can trust me on that. It may be time for you both to just grow in different directions. That's sad stuff, man. You've been together for 6 years. He wants you to defecate or get off the pot. If you're not ready after 6 years, I doubt you will be ever ready. I think it's weird that not more people are commenting on your mother's sickness being the main reason that you are possibly fabricating for not being ready to marry here. And yeah, that issue will not be addressed. And we've reached the end of today's episode. And on that note, I'm going to go back to doing whatever I do in this room when no one's looking. And hope you all have a good day. So take care, and I'll catch you again soon for another episode. Bye-bye.